Good morning. Welcome to another edition of This Week in Property. I'm Jayashree Kurup. I am editor of Magicbricks, and I've got Prabhakar Sinha, who's a real estate editor with Times of India. Today we're talking about the role of technology in real estate and how it can become an enabler. Technology is an enabler in two ways, and Prabhakar will discuss this. One is for the developer, and the other end of the spectrum for the consumer. Technology works both ways, right? Let's talk about the developer. Do you think we're using enough technology in the development process today?
Yeah, in NCR region, particularly in the metro cities now, a lot of new technologies have come, but still in the tier 2, tier 3 cities, and that has not gone, particularly in the light of the kind of demands in the housing sector is coming up. And the kind of houses, the number of units these developers have sold. If they want to give delivery on time, then they have to adopt the new technology, like the My1 technology, or like this prefab or the precast technologies. These technologies not only increase the pace of the construction, but also they can help them in controlling the quality of the construction. Right. And both of which are very, very important. Besides that, there is jump form technology to go for the high-rise building, which Supertech has adopted for their project in Noida. So these new technologies now, particularly in the NCR regions, have started coming in, and that is helping the developers, and not only the big developers, but the small developers are also now using precast technology. But there are 3, 4, 5 developers who have put up in the company in our industry of the precast, and then they are selling those precast slabs or precast prefab the stuff to these developers. But only thing is this, that they'll have to replicate the same size.
Standardization has been an issue that has dogged this industry.
Exactly.
If every window had the same dimensions, if the doors had the same dimensions, then you can go for prefab.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, then you don't get the benefit of getting
prefab or this kind of technology.
Factory constructed off-site technologies.
Exactly. So, and that standardization has still not been achieved or still not been popularized. So all the developers want their own customization and things like that. So that is some of the problem, but I believe that slowly what will happen that this precast module, this mold, they will have also for different type, different size. So the varieties will be available, and in that situation what will happen that many types of the construction or the size and molds will be available, and that will produce that kind of it. But certainly that is going to change the entire construction industry in India, and that will improve the quality, particularly in the seismic zone. These things are very important, particularly the My1 technology, which people are saying is more suitable for the high seismic zone area, because this is very strong and it has a large base of the large concrete base, and so it is suitable. Quality, then the cost of construction cost of construction in both the cases are a bit higher.
But Prabhakar, actually, the issue that a lot of developers that we spoke to raised was that you need economies of scale for prefabricated construction to give you the best results. Whereas My1 technologies or new age shuttering technologies, you can use it for smaller number of units as well.
Yeah, but in the case of My1 also, what happens that you'll have to fix the mold.
Yes.
Now, if you are going to say construct a mold, and then at least you'll have to construct 500 or 800 flats, so that the cost of constructing that mold doesn't affect your cost of the flat.
Right.
And so now what is suggested, particularly in the market nowadays, the developers are also saying that either the government or the government-aided company or some of the banks or these players should come together and put up banks of these kind of instruments.
Very similar to what we saw early 2000s when the Kanoria group had championed the cause of banking construction equipment, and they created QIPO. Now, QIPO clearly was for construction equipment and not construction molds. Now today, what the demand is for molds.
Right? And particularly somebody like Kanoria now should come forward for this kind of a bank, so that say a developer is constructing simply 200 apartments, and if they want to hire these modes from some of these banks and they pay for per use, then certainly the cost of construction for that entire will be lower, and also the quality will be good, and they can do it faster way. So if you want to produce, like particularly today, the Noida, Greater Noida, and particularly this entire NCR region is plagued with the delay of the projects. Now, delay of the projects, one of the reason is also because of the timeline which is required to construct a high-rise building under the traditional way of construction, on-site technologies. And the kind of labor you will require for that is also not available nowadays, the trained labor. Now, in the My1 technology or the precast technology, in both the cases, the labor work is not required to be that trained.
So you need to retrain them for new
kind of jobs. Absolutely. But they can do it in much faster way. In the entire thing will be much specific, and the quality of construction will be very good and controlled particularly. Right. Whatever the developer wants to give to its customer, they can give it. They can control the construction at the factory site, and they can put it there. Right. So it's very good.
So to encapsulate, you've got off-site large factories which are building precast molds, which the factories can give it to developers across the board. Supertech said that it started for itself. Now it's it's enhancing its capacity so that it can service the rest of the industry. Yeah. And like you said, there are three or four other players also who are constructing elements of the house, the staircases, the toilets, the walls, the roofs, and so on, so that it can be assembled on the site. But for this, you need standardization and you need volume and scale, right? Yeah. We had briefly referred to this earlier. The government of India has opened a global challenge for all technology providers who would come and help India in this huge housing challenge of 2022. Every technology provider from around the world can come and construct 200 units on ground anywhere in India with a joint venture partner. The only rider is that they have to transfer the technology to the Indian partner, so that it can be
government will adopt that technology and try to popularize it among the other developers and things like that. Right. But only thing is this, that all those technologies, first of all, it should be cost effective, then it can be repetitive, that means it can be copied also very fast, and the timeline of the construction should be reduced, and the quality should be okay.
And RERA mandates that you have to meet your timeline.
Yeah, exactly.
If you've announced a timeline, the developer is penalized heavily if you miss the timelines that you have announced.
Yeah, particularly high-rise buildings, a 30-story building. Today, it requires 5 years to complete that entire story. Now, with these technologies, they are saying that it can be done in 1.5 years, 2 years timeline. Yeah. The entire construction can be completed. So this shortened the timeline, the time period required to complete the construction, and so the cost of funding also comes down. So all these factors put together, people say that, you talk to the analyst and they say that the net cost of construction or completing an entire project is cheaper.
Right, because you're crunching the timeline.
Timeline, exactly.
Right. In fact, Raj Pillai of Puruvankara, and he set up the Star Track, which is the prefab construction unit. What Raj Pillai says is that housing, you have to look at it in two ways. We've always focused on the frills and we haven't focused on the core. Today, with the construction companies coming in, the core is going to be very, very important. How fast you can put it, how well it is standardized, how quickly you can establish it, and the frills that go with it, which means that all the finishing, the doors,
dividing walls, things like that.
That is what the developer has to spend a lot of time on.
Yeah.
We are in a transition, and technology is definitely helping with the development. Let's go to the other side of the table, the consumers. Here too, the technology, this week we've had one of the most successful bidding options where the M3M group was able to sell worth more than 200 crore within a day through the bidding process on a Magicbricks platform, a Magicbricks bidding platform. Now, Prabhakar, we were apprehensive whether the consumers would be able to take to it. We did have a whole episode of TWIP on the bidding process. Now, help me understand, you are in touch with consumer groups and so on. Help me understand, what is it that made the consumer take to this at this point of time?
Now, look, when any buyer, now suppose you want to buy a house, the one way is that you go to the site, you check the size of the flats, its entire ambience, how does it look like, what it is. Now the thing is this, suppose a buyer in Bangalore or suppose a buyer in, say, Los Angeles, he is an Indian, he wants to buy a house in Gurgaon. Now, the problem for him is that he should either fly down to Delhi to see those flats, and then after he has to fix all the things. That is quite cumbersome. Now, if you provide him this entire three-dimensional thing on the website itself, that he just can visit the website and can see that entire flat, entire projects, inside and outside. He can voyage this entire project from inside also. Then he can convince himself that, okay, this fulfills its requirement, right. Number one. So presenting the project in three-dimensional way in a convincing platform to the buyer is paramount. Unless you do that, buyers will not come to buy it. Because if he has to come, say a person from Los Angeles, he has to travel here. So it will cost him at least 2 lakhs to 3 lakhs rupees in one visit. So certainly he will, that's a very big inertia, yes, that whether he should come here to buy a house or not. Number two, that when you are selling a project, then what is the guarantee that quality, what you are saying is the same, what you are giving also. Yeah. So in that,
an independent audit helps.
Audit helps, exactly.
Yes.
So in that kind of a situation, now like in your platform, you have appointed KPMG and other auditors, Deloitte, yeah, that to certify that whether this project is okay or not. But they are okay means that whatever they have specified, whether that is there available or it is different from that.
Yes.
So if he could convince himself that no, this project is what it is, what they have promised. So certainly that also helps them to come on the site and decide to complete the entire process.
And actually this was, we were able to do this because the project was complete.
Exactly.
It was ready to move in.
And
yeah,
at the same time, the platform,
yeah,
that what is the credibility of the platform which is marketing it. Now, Magicbricks, because it is associated with a good group, so certainly that credibility is also associated
also with the platform itself has an STQC certification, which meant that it was certified by the Government of India that this is a platform that can be used for bidding either by banks or by developers.
Exactly.
So
all these things put together, yeah, convince a buyer that, okay, boss, one can do a deal through this website, and that is why deals are completed.
Right.
Because let me remember one thing, that there are many this kind of sites there who offer such things that, okay, you can buy it seeing it on the on-site things, right, but deals are not happening. Right. So to deal to happen, you need to have all the ingredients put together. Only after all this is there, the buyers will come convinced that, okay, boss, I can complete the deal, I can close the deal here, and I can buy it. Right. And that is why this deal is so successful that in one day you could sell to, 180 or
200 crore, over 200 crore worth of
revenues generated. So that's great.
Right.
And it's a good thing. Let me tell you also that for not only for the buyers, but for the developers also. Now for developers, the market has opened up to the entire world.
Right.
So now they can sell their project not only in India, but in Dubai, in USA, in UK, and Indians are all over the places. Right. And they want to buy a house or a property in NCR, in any of the city.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem for them today is that they have to visit to India, which normally they visit once in 2 years or 3 years time. But now this is the time when everybody is saying that right time to buy a house. Then many of my friends is calling and asking it, boss, where to buy, how to buy, can you suggest something? Right. Suggesting like this is not that easy unless they can see.
In fact, I think one of the biggest things, and we've got one consumer, Karan Singh, who has said, how has mobile technology changed the real estate business? And Karan, here I would like to tell you that I'll talk about Magicbricks. When we started, I thought the first thing that we did was we created a advisory platform for the consumer. As a consumer, you wanted to know what the locality rates were. We mined the data on the back end and we told you what the average locality rates are. So if you're buying a 3 BHK flat and the developer's quoting say 7,500, and you would be able to tally that with what is happening in the locality. The second thing that you wanted to know was, if you have queries, you normally get only a customer service executive. Can you talk to the developers? And here, the technology allowed us to bring the developer very close to you. You could just simply log in, post your query, and talk one-to-one through a technology platform. That is a big thing.
Exactly. And then the Google Maps and all that advises them or help them understand that how far it is from the marketplace, right, how the road is built or not.
So a travel time indicator that we gave, that is well being used.
Exactly. So you need to have 360-degree view and information of that project.
Also consume the information. Prabhakar, I'd like you to spend a little time on this. You are talking to a very large number of clients, customers. The customers who do their own research, who ask the right questions and keep asking the questions, seem to get the best units, don't they?
Exactly.
So what is it? Why don't you give a 5-point thing? If you're buying a house, what are the questions that you should ask?
I'll ask that. Number one, that who is the builder? At what stage of construction it is? If it is completed, very good. Number three, what is the connectivity? Right. How far it is from the marketplace? What are the other amenities available in the nearby, like hospital, schools, all those stuffs? I just want to understand that whether it is okay or not, in which area it is, and then after, the location of my flat, with which floor it is. Now, like I don't want to go up on in the floors. So if I would like to say 3rd floor, 4th floor, 5th floor, then whether it is close to the ground and how far it is. Then after, in which direction it is. Then in a 3D map, and if this north-south, this campus is along with that, so you can understand it, that which side of your flat
do I get
sunshine and all that or not.
Yeah.
All these are important. Number three, then, if you have old person living with you, then certainly you would like to have more of the sun so that they can go out and sit there, yeah, or otherwise, all sort of things. It all depends on
wind patterns, how much ventilation you have, how much light you have in the
house. And taking all these things under consideration, I will decide that which unit I should buy.
Right.
And so any buyer, if he wants to buy a flat to live, particularly, it's not to think for 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. You are going to live there for 5 years or 10 years. So you must think of it, that what all amenities, what all the things you will require in your house, and you must insist that you should get it.
Right.
And then only you
actually, Prabhakar, I think a lot of this has come into focus because today the person who's buying is an end user. He's not an investor.
Yeah, exactly.
An investor normally looked at, I'm buying early stage, when can I exit? How much money will I get when I exit? Yeah. Whereas an end user is saying, is there connectivity? Is there social infrastructure?
Exactly.
Is there everything else? What's new?
And today, if you're buying it through website also, you can check all this very easily.
Right.
Even if you are going physically to see it, you can't drive down all the marketplace from that projects. So basically what people do go and see on the map that where it is located, how far it is from this area, how far the metro is, how far the other amenities are available. And that is important for everybody to see to it, that they are getting a good deal.
In fact, our discussion so far, Meenu from Gurgaon, who said, why is technology adoption a key to transforming the real estate sector? I think, Meenu, that's exactly what Prabhakar and I have been addressing. There's Dinesh Kumar from Faridabad who said how technology will change the real estate industry in the next 5 years. And I think today it's early adoption, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to see a mass adoption.
Yeah. It's going to mature further in this side. And the technology, basically, people will decide through technology only that whether this project is good or not, because no one would like to go, say, if you want to buy, I'm living in Noida and I want to buy a thing in Gurgaon. So first of all, I will identify through maps only that which are the projects I will look for.
Right.
Then I will zero in, say 1 or 2 projects I'll zero in, then I will go because I am nearby, so I will drive down and I'll see that whether
Right.
this project is good. But technology will be used to identify that which project you are going to buy.
In fact, we always used to tell people, travel from wherever you're working or wherever your work area is to the house that you propose to buy at different times of the day, so that you know when there is a traffic jam. Today, technology actually allows you to even check that out, because you can check out the Google Maps.
Yeah, without going there.
Without going there.
That whether the red mark is there on the road or not.
And the travel time indicator shows you at different times of the day how much time are you spending going there. Prabhakar, we've started getting some queries in. Will a property constructed by latest technology be cheaper than one constructed through traditional methods?
Now look, the cost-wise, cost of construction, if you go plain, that how much concrete it is using, how much cement it is using, then it is costlier because it uses much more materials. But as the timeline shrinks or the get compacted, so the financial cost comes down. So overall cost, if it is not cheaper, then it will not be higher also. It will
you will just get your house faster, and that
impacts, and better. Faster and a better house.
Faster, better, more standardized. You don't need to worry whether there will be seepages, leakages, because it is all factory fitted units, right? Then there is a query. We have seen many trends in Europe where ready to move in houses can be built and carried from one place to another. Tiny houses are built for people seeking affordable homes. Is that trend being seen in India too? I don't think so. I think we are very, very early in stages of maturity of the real estate market. The housing market, particularly in the next 5 years, there will see a lot of experimentation. You'll see some technologies being adopted and come to stay. You will also see some technologies which are partially adapted to Indian conditions, but that experimentation will happen by 2022, I think.
That the My1 technology is like that, but My1 is used for the high rise today, not for the single floor store. Construction. So tomorrow, if suppose somebody does that, then you can shift the house also from one place to the other place.
There is a question: what are the new tools buyers can use online to search and filter out the best buyers?
I mean, you go on the site, Magicbricks site, and then they'll tell you that how can you use the various filters to find out your house of your choice and all that. It's a very good place. You go and try it there.
Earlier, you had to go to a broker, ask him to show you the projects, and then you had to go from project to project. Today, when you go to a website, you can post your requirements, how many BHK, what is the size, what is the locality, and so on.
What is the price range?
What is your price range? And you get the localities where it is available. Out of those, you can see whether the project that you like, it is in the range of the locality prices.
What are the options available? They will throw you all the options. Then you just go on the website or they go on a map and see that where all these projects are located. Then you identify any of the projects. Then you can, there are many websites like Magicbricks also, for the many projects, they will give you the 3D-dimensional view of that. You can see those projects. And then after you identify that which one you like, which one you want, then if you are nearby in Delhi, then you can go and visit that physically. Otherwise, you can decide on through website also. But today, not all the developers are ready to sell the projects through the website also only. So you'll have to go and check it physically, that which one you like, and then you can close the deal through website also.
And also, because there are lots of queries that people want, we've got a forum where people ask their queries and we get the developers, we get experts to come back and answer your queries. Prabhakar, in fact, we consider one of our experts because he's been writing so frequently on the real estate sector. He's in touch with the entire industry and he has a bird's eye view of what's happening today in the market. And that's one reason why he's with us. Also, because you have so many queries, we've got a section called magicbricks.com/advice. Here you can check out what is the investability of that locality, what is the distance from different areas, what is the rates and trends over a period of time. So you must do your own research. I think it is important.
Yeah, visit the website. That's why I keep asking you. Visit the website. There they will do like hand-holding that, okay, what you should do next, what should you do next, and they will take you to your house also if you are really a serious buyer.
Okay, we've got a query on the bidding process. Why should any project be required to undergo the bidding process? Is it a different way of giving discount? Is the consumer liable to pay portals who are facilitating the bidding format?
Now, bidding format, where I mean, it's good. Number one, that the price that you are paying, you will be convinced that this is the best price you paid for this project.
And it's all inclusive.
All inclusive. And then after project is completed, and this is the situation when you are very serious to buy a house, you are going to do the bidding process. Now suppose you are meeting the developer directly, you are going to do a deal. You don't know that whatever deal you are closing at, whether you are right or wrong. You may think that no, I should have quoted a bit lower price and the developer would be ready to give me that. But you are not sure of it. But in the bidding process, you will never think that, okay, now I am cheated at this price or I have paid a bit more. At the same time, developer will also think that, boss, I got the best price of my flat because this is the price that market is ready to give me. So for both the side, it is a, win-win kind of a deal. And I believe that bidding process is the most transparent way to complete a deal.
See, for the developer, it means that for a short period of time, he held the prices. He gave you the lowest prices, and it is like a very much like an Amazon sale or a Flipkart sale, where the developer is saying, I'm giving you prices at this rate during this period, and you can come and do the site visits, you can check it out, you can ask me any questions, I'll answer all your questions, but this is for a limited period of time. And you have to actually be a serious buyer. And you're told through the course of the day, from 11 in the morning till 5, we had it till 4, we had to extend it by 1 hour because the bidders were active, which means that the bidders are checking the prices through the day and bidding for the house. And I think you get the unit that you want at the price that you want.
At the best price.
At the best price.
At the best price.
We would like to actually tell all the consumers that there is Magicbricks is conducting a poll. We've put the details on in the comments section. Do take the Magicbricks poll on the technology and real estate. We would like that this is one of the largest polls that we're conducting. There is a query, Housing for All is a government's mission. Will they take technology help to complete the projects and provide? If so, will affordability cost of the project go up? Here, Prabhakar, we talked about affordable last time, and I'd like you to reiterate some of the points that you made. How do you keep the house affordable? How do you, what are the taxation breaks that are being given, and how will this work?
Now, the Housing for All, particularly in the affordable segments, governments are giving a lot of benefits to the developers also and the buyers also. Developers, they are saying it that if you will develop a project with say the minimum size is 2 acres or for 2 acres of the land, and the maximum size of the flat should not be more than 60 square meter. That means 646 square feet. That is carpet area. Then in that project, on completing the sale, if whatever profit developer is making, that will not be taxed.
Right.
So that's a huge benefit.
Right.
That's a huge benefit. Number two, for the buyers also, and besides that, as all the affordable projects have been included in the infrastructure sector, so they are now able to access the banking funds from the banks at a much cheaper rate, say at around 10.5% to 11%. Whereas for the normal projects, they have to borrow at 14% to 18%. So the cost differential is huge for the affordable housing. So this is the benefit the government is giving to the developers. Now for the buyers also, now the government is giving first of all around 2.5 lakh rupees upfront discount to the buyers for the houses they are going to buy.
If your salary is less than 18 lakh.
18 lakhs, exactly. Certainly, I mean, this kind of a house only they will buy. Right. So this is a great benefit to the buyers also.
Besides, and if it's your first house.
First house. And besides that, there are some tax break also they will get up to 2.5 lakh rupees interest they will be paying on their entire this bank loans. Right. That will be deducted from their income, taxable income, so that will reduce. So the net benefit is something around 75,000 rupees. Right. So that is also additional benefit to the buyers of this in this segment. Particularly the interest segment, interest benefit is for the everybody, not for that only, for everybody. But they can also avail it besides availing the 2.5 lakh rupees
which is
subsidy.
the CLSS, the credit linked subsidy.
So these are the benefits, but the technology particularly is very important because the demand in this is very huge. So the expectation is that number of houses that is going to be built in the lakhs. So new technology has to be adopted to complete the project fast so that it will become cheaper for the buyers also, and at the same time it can meet the requirements of the market also. For both the things, the government is trying to encourage all these developers to adopt new technologies through NBCC, and lot many other players are being encouraged or asked to talk to the developers so that they can adopt this technology.
So Sonali of Greater Noida, I think Prabhakar just answered your query where you said, do you think the Indian real estate sector needs a big push in terms of the use of technology in construction projects? Of course it does. The reason why we were not able to complete was our construction process was slow. There was no incentive to actually quickly construct and hand over to the end users, and that push is what is
government is giving.
What the government is giving.
Yeah.
There is another query which I thought was very interesting. Do developers use artificial materials for construction these days? How can a buyer check it?
No, artificial materials are there, but in India still, I mean, look, besides the cement and all this stuff which they are using, so besides that, there are many kind of a foam and other things also people are using world over. But that increased the cost. Yeah. So in India, still those stuffs are not getting used. They are using just the material, the construction material. And the quality of construction material over a period of time is improving day by day. And I believe if you see the quality of construction today and a house built say 5 years or 10 years back, you will find that the quality is improving.
Right. And when you are going for factory constructed units, the quality certification is there. If you're going for technologies like Prabhakar has been talking about, MyVin technologies, these technologies also ensure systematic, standardized delivery again and again and again. Exactly. Which means that every time it's the same quality that is being assured, and that is the benefit of technology. There is Ranveer Singh of Chandigarh who says, is it safe to buy a house through online real estate portals? Ranveer, you're not buying a house. You're selecting a house through the online portals. The portals themselves do not participate in the transaction. Whether you select a house and go contact the end user, the end seller, or whether you go through the broker who has posted these properties, you are actually, the biggest benefit of the portals is that it is aggregating all the stock that is in the market onto one place. It allows you to select, it allows you to compare, very much like when you go into a store and compare two phones, so you compare cars, very similar to that. And now today what you're going to see is that houses also, you will be able to do an apples to apples comparison.
Yeah, but just very soon they will also be able to close the deal also. They might be asked to pay the entire amount on the website through the bank.
You see this happening in Australia, where the banking network is
also connected with that, and they are doing it. So very soon that will also start happening. Right. And provided the two things here it is required, that the developer through which you are, from which home you are buying should be a standard one, so that you can rely on them, and the website through which you are completing the deal should be standardized, should be standard one, so that you don't feel that, okay, should I make this kind of a payment or not? But payment and all these things are nowadays can be made, are being made through website.
In fact, the bidding process was exactly that.
Yeah.
We provided the platform. We are not participating in the transaction, but we provide you a platform where you can actually go through to payment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, the developers of the bank account, you can transfer the money to their account to complete the project.
Okay, we've got a message from the Ministry of Housing. We've got Ankita from the government who's watching. Thank you, Ankita, for joining us. We would appreciate if you can give us your comments or your questions. We'd be happy to discuss those. We've got Bhagirathi Natarajan from Chennai who says, I stay in Chennai but want to buy a house in Pune for my parents. I have searched online portals and through the use of technology selected a flat as well. Should I visit the site as well? Now, is it enough to check on the portal or should I do a site visit?
Now, this depends that from, I mean, who is the developer? Now, if there is a good developer whom you can rely on, then you can complete the transaction also. Because there are developers, let me tell you, in Pune also, in Delhi also, whom you can rely that, okay, whatever they are saying, they will be delivering. Right. So in that kind of a scene, you can complete the transaction also, and many developers are allowing it and helping you also to complete that entire process. And in that situation, what will happen? They will send him the papers, send him or her the papers, and complete the signing procedure, and all that can be completed. Money can be transferred. But for the registry, they'll have to go to Pune to complete the registration.
So it is good to actually be in the city, because ultimately to finish the registration process, you have to be there. You have to be there. You have to be there. There is Nagarjun Reddy from Hyderabad who says, are new homes that are built through the safe use of construction technology safe? I am from a small town in Telangana. How safe is it to live in a high-rise?
Now today, high-rise, people are saying, is safer than the low-rise building, because in high-rise there are a specification, or they are built with the specification to withstand the seismic or the earthquake of certain Richter scale, 7, 7.5, and things like that. So world over, say in Tokyo, where the number of earthquakes, happens every day, and still the people lives in 50 stories, 70 stories, 100 stories flat. So similarly, world over in other countries, developed countries also, and there hardly any accident happen. Right. So high-rise is certainly safe, but provided it is built by a good developer, and the developer must have kept in mind the safety aspects while constructing that building. But
as a technology, it is safe. And when the completion certificate is given to the developer, the city authorities are mandated to actually check that they have adhered to all the rules. The National Building Code also has created those safety guidelines so that when you live in a high-rise, though if it's conforming to the National Building Code, it becomes safe. It is a safe building. Also, there is another aspect to it. When you live in a high-rise building, remember that it is community living at its best. There are multiple layers of security. So if you leave a small child behind, or aging parents behind when you're going out to work, remember that there are multiple levels of security is very important. If your children come down and play in the evening, there is a guard who ensures that the children don't run out, that the play area is safe. If you were to live in laid out areas, the layouts that the city is normally has,
individual house, the maintenance
houses,
and all that is very cumbersome. In high-rise, the maintenance is done by the society itself, so there is not much problem. So if you are, say, double income family, or if you are a working woman, then certainly high-rise condominium is much better place to live.
Yeah. We've got a few more queries coming in. Take the Magicbricks poll technology. Has technology become an enabler for consumers in real estate? Once again, we're telling you, do take the poll. Your responses help us to conduct these sessions better next time. What is the time frame for a house built through latest technology vis-a-vis a house built traditionally?
Now, traditionally, if you see the RERA site today, now there's many developers who just use the traditional technology have given the timeline of completion 5 years upward. Okay. Whereas with the new technologies, people are saying that the same construction can be completed in 2 to 3 years time. Right. So certainly technology is very, very useful, and it shortened the entire period of completion of the construction of a project. So that's no doubt in that. The technology always helps you in improving the entire procedure. Right. And so that's why a new technology is being used. Right. And so I believe the Indian construction industry is using it nowadays in a very aggressive manner.
Right. And we would like to tell you that in addition to, especially the lady who said, should I travel to Pune to look for the house? We understand that it's not convenient for you to go and visit the house at the time of buying. And Magicbricks has created experience centers. We've already created 4 experience centers, 2 in Bangalore, 1 in Mumbai, and 1 in Noida in the Times House. These are areas where you can go and check out what is happening there. You can get 3D rendering of the houses that you're going to buy. Also, there are holograms which allow you to see, if you were buying a particular unit, what is the view that you get from that.
This virtual reality, I mean, this specs glasses, now they are glasses they are using, and if you will use that, there are technology in which if you just wear that and see those photographs, then you will find yourself in the midst of the building, in the flat or the project, and you are roaming around that entire project and how does it look like. So these new technologies are being used. Now the photographs are being done in such a fashion that it gives you 360-degree view of the project and of your flat also, inside and outside. The photographs are being done through drones and all. So technologies have improved and the people are using it slowly and slowly. Certainly today it is being used for the premium projects, but as the cost will come down slowly and slowly, it will be used for the general apartments also.
Right. We've got one more query. Technology continues to be a catalyst for change in all areas of business and industry, and the real estate market is no exception. Developers add the cost of technology to the cost of the house. Would that mean that the real estate prices will always fluctuate? Real estate prices will always fluctuate.
Always.
That is the base information that you should know. Why are we telling you to buy today? Because over the last 2 years, there were a lot of incomplete housing which has used technology, come to completion, and today, because the ready stock of supply is very high, you can get good rates and the developers are willing to give you good rates to buy those projects.
Exactly.
Does this mean that the same price will prevail for the next 6 months? Nobody is sure. 2 years later, if you want to buy that house, will you get it at the same price? Not at all. You will get it depending on what the market situation is at that point of time. And you are always going to see that prices of real estate will fluctuate.
Yeah. And the technology changes the price of construction particularly by 5% to 10%, not more. So don't think of it that because of technology uses, that tomorrow the flat can be built in 5 lakh of rupees. That is not feasible. So the technology can only expedite the whole process, but the material required is there. I mean, it's a feel and good things. I mean, the cement, if it is required, it will be required in technologies also. The concrete will be required in the new technology also, whether it is My One, whether it is Jump Form, or whatever technology they are using. All these materials will be used. So the cost of material will remain the same. Only thing is this expedite the whole process, this expedite the standardization, I mean, it brings the standardization and the quality of the construction. So those are the things only.
And Prabhakar, I think we need to reiterate that today India is in the mission mode. India wants to deliver a home for every Indian by 2022. When a government goes into mission mode for anything, that means that it is facilitating a large number of things. So let's talk about the whole process. The process of when a developer decides to buy the land and start the construction process, there are a lot of approvals that he has to apply for. Now the government is promising that the approvals process will be
completed. Shrunk, and it will be done in 3 months' time. Particularly in some of the cities, they are saying that we will do it through the one window and we will do it in 1 week or 2 weeks' time. A maximum 3 months' time, they will give the entire thing. Earlier, it used to require 3 years. So now, because of this time frame coming down, also the cost of entire process will come down and expedite the whole process. Besides, the ease of doing business will also, I mean, government is trying to bring in this segment so that more and more developers can do more of the construction work, so that more and more flats is completed and comes to the market. So because of this mission mode particularly, let me tell you, nowadays the entire condition of the market is changing.
Right.
It's becoming more and more responsive, more vibrant. Developers are thinking to launch. Right now, market condition is not good. That is why developers are waiting to launch any new projects. But otherwise, particularly in the affordable segment, the developers are launching new projects.
Absolutely. And also remember that earlier when you bought a house that was affordable, it used to be in the peripheries of the city, the social infrastructure was not in place. Today, developers have understood that when end users are buying, end users need livability of the localities. We recently spoke to Mayfair, Nayan Shah of Mayfair Housing in Mumbai, and he said that when he bought a project, he found that there were 17 encroachments on the way from the main road to his project. Working with the municipal authorities, figuring out, putting RTIs to figure out what is the legality of those encroachments, he's been able to bring it down to 1. He's even fought cases. So developers today have realized that if there is no livability, if that then your project will not sell, and end users are in particular are looking for livability. So there is a query that I've got whether the smart cities mission is being linked with the use of technology.
Obviously.
Absolutely.
A smart city is the use of technology. It's much beyond this. There, the city is also the part of the entire ecosystem.
Yeah.
And not only this, living in your house, you can understand, you can find out that a bus on the bus stand, how much times after bus stand, on the bus stand, bus is going to come. And if your travel time is 5 minutes, you can get a beep also, say 7 minutes before, that your bus will come in 5 minutes, so you go to your bus stop. So this kind of technology they are trying to build in the electricity and all that. So
electricity, water, waste, transport, everything, security, safety, cleaning, everything will be linked to a master plan in the city, and it will be a grid of services.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
And will housing be part of it? I think it is part of it. It's just that before, we'll give you the example of San Jose, where Cisco was the biggest tenant, and Cisco wanted to put up one more tower, and the San Jose authorities said, sorry, we can't give you that permission right now, because the city's systems have to be augmented so that it could be used. It can cater to all the people who will be coming to this tower. Unfortunately, in the Indian context, it hadn't happened till now, but I think the Smart Cities mission is going to bring
Smart City mission, but two things here. Let me tell you, I want to clarify that whatever this new technology I'm talking about, that is going to be deployed in a new city, which is going to come up as a smart city, say Greater Noida, Yamuna Expressway, or in some new area. Now, as per the government plan, they want to improve the working environment of the existing old cities also, like Ghaziabad, Faridabad. Certainly there you can't expect these things to happen overnight, so that will take time. But certainly they will improve the living condition of those cities also under this new program which they have launched in the smart city format. So say the city like Banaras, they are doing the cleaning, they are putting the things underground, and they are improving the entire ecosystem. So a smart city is a great plan of the government to make our cities better place to live. Today, you go to many of the cities in the tier 2, tier 3 grade, you will find it really in a very bad condition.
And remember, to have a good life, you need pedestrian walks, you need good roads, you need access, you need water and power backups, you need safety and security, you need street lighting. These are all very important elements. And where the cities are saying, take the example of the Ghazipur, the dump. Very soon, consumers are saying, not in my backyard. I don't want your garbage coming to my backyard. And very soon, you are seeing city after city. Trivandrum is a great example, where entire city has to segregate its waste, manage it at the micro level, and you, as citizens living in that area, have to participate in that entire city management process, because your garbage is your problem, not your neighbor's.
Solid waste will be not a problem, say in the next 5 years. City like Kochi. Now in Kochi, I am told that all the condominiums have their own solid waste management plant. They use it inside the project only, and they don't discharge it to the main sewer system. And the water requirement also, they have bring it down through that rain harvesting system, and they don't want water from the outside. In fact, they discharge the water to the main system.
In fact, groups like Gore and so on, where there are large townships, they have dual piping systems. The treated water goes for your flushing, and the process. They
manage their solid waste themselves.
They manage the solid waste themselves.
They don't put it on the main sewer system. So this is only hope of Indian cities, because in Indian city, the solid waste management is the biggest problem. And particularly the day all this solid waste can be used for power generation, for fertilizer creation, certainly, and if it is a profitable venture, things will improve.
Waste is definitely going to be wealth, and that is what developer after developer is realizing.
And the technology is going to play a very important role in that.
So thank you all of you for participating. We thank the Government of India, the Ministry of Housing for joining in this session. Thank you, Prabhakar, for joining us. And keep those questions coming. Like we said, there is a poll that we are conducting. Do take our poll. We would give out the results of the poll when we meet you next Thursday on This Week in Property. Thank you for joining us.